Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of RV Tips and Trips. Today I'm going to do an evaluation of 1,000 Trails membership. Is it worth it? Well, I can tell you all about it because we've had it for now over a year. So stay tuned, I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Hey, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you'll get notified. All right. So, is 1,000 Trails membership worth it? This is basically a one-year evaluation of our membership. We have saved a ton of money. I mean, a ton. It's something that I wish we had right off the bat when we first started traveling. But you know what? It's okay. So in our first year of membership, we were in their system for 233 nights. Now, the year that they measure from is from when you started your contract. So ours was started in September of 2019. All right, so and that runs to the end of August. That would be our year. So 233 nights. Now, in order to see how many nights you're in the system, you can do this one of two ways. So you get these tags to stick in the window of your RV or on the post at your campsite. If you unfold it, you will see right down here, nights used. And on this one, this shows 64. So I lost the one that showed the 233 nights in the system. So that was as of our check-in at this place on November 4th. Our membership renewed September 1st. So 64 nights in the system so far on this coming year. All right, so to figure out for this actual year, the year 2020, I went to the 1,000 Trails website, logged in, and on your dashboard you can go to My Trips. And on there is a detailed log of all the reservations that you have had, all the places that you've stayed, and all the and you can also look at your future reservations. So starting from January 1st of this year, 2020, to now, I added it all up, and then I'm looking at the reservations to the end of the year and added those in, figuring I'm going to have no changes. And after adding all that up, so it's a pretty handy tool that they have, because it shows you how many nights on each reservation, and just added them up with the calculator. And I come up with 305 nights in the 1,000 Trails system. Of course, that also includes encores as well. 305 nights. I mean, wow, that is a lot if you stop and think about it for the year. I mean, we did a little boondocking, and we went to Colorado, and in Colorado there's no 1,000 Trails, so we were out of the system for a while. So what is that? About 40 days total out of the system. But if you figure the average RV spot costs $50, and I still think that number is a tad low because RV parks seem to be going up in price all over the place. But if you figure at $50 average cost per night in an RV park, that it would cost you $15,250 in camping fees. That doesn't include the other places that we stayed at. So $15,250. Now, we have the Elite Basic, and we paid $6,500 for it. And then you have annual dues, and you got your Trails Collection membership. Now, the Trails Collection is optional, but I think it's worth the money. It's now $3.99, I believe. So we financed our membership, the lifetime membership part, and so that runs $165 a month. And then we pay our annual dues and the Trails Collection in monthly payments of $81 a month. So that adds up to $246 a month. And that gives us an annual cost of $2,952. So if you stop and think about it, we saved over $15,000, and the cost for us this year was $3,000. So we saved $12,000 overall. I defy anybody to live that cheaply. So I think it's an awesome deal. Like I said, it has saved us a boatload of money, and I wish we had joined up sooner. So we've actually had this now 1 year, 4 months. And now there are a lot of unhappy members out there. It seems all the time I'm seeing stuff on Facebook and boards where people are bad-mouthing the Thousand Trails system. Now, there are good parks and there are some bad parks, but they're not horrible. It's always, you got a place to stay. I've always felt secure. I've never felt unsafe. A lot of places you have full hookups, some you don't. Some are kept extremely nice, some aren't. I believe Thousand Trails is trying to fix it. I think mostly, though, those who are doing all the complaining tend to be the Zone Pass members, not the lifetime members, but the Zone Pass people. And we started off with just the Zone Pass too, for about a month, and then I quickly upgraded. But they seem to have the most complaints, and part of it is because they only have a 60-day window of opportunity to make reservations, where with the Elite package we have 120 days, with the exception of the Encore parks, which still remain at 60 days. But in the busier areas, the more popular areas, 60 days may not cut it, and that's where the 120 days comes in. Also, a lot of these members are new to RVing, and they got free passes for a year when they purchased their RV. So I think maybe, just maybe, their expectations are just a wee bit too high, and they do the Thousand Trails thing, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're on top of each other, the facilities aren't the swiftest, and they haven't really experienced life outside of the Thousand Trails system. You know what? You can run into bad RV parks not in the Thousand Trails system and pay a lot of money for them, depending on their location. So, and I think that's probably what's going on. You get what you pay for, essentially. So if you go cheap, you may run into more problems. If you go for the lifetime memberships, the Elite Basic, I'm happy with, at a 120-day reservation window, and a lot of campgrounds to choose from, and it runs mostly down the East Coast and the West Coast, and not so much in the midsection of the country. As long as you understand that and understand the limitations, I think the system has been great. Now, on some of the even more expensive packages, I think you can have reservations up to 210 days out. It's crazy. So, bottom line is, if you don't have enough reservation window, having a hard time getting into parks, maybe you should consider upgrading. Also, they probably don't understand that you need to be flexible. So we're quite flexible. I plan these things out. That's the thing about doing the 1,000 Trails deal. You need to plan your trips, where before we were kind of freestyling it. So we plan it well. I try and make reservations as early as possible, and I'm flexible in where I need to be, and also flexible on the dates. So if I can't get in one spot or one RV park, maybe there's another 1,000 Trails or Encore park not too far from where I want to be. So you kind of play with those until you find a reservation. Hasn't really been an issue whatsoever for us. But flexibility is key in location and timing. Now, if the people are part-timers and they're just doing a week here, a week there, maybe this whole thing just is not suitable for something like that. If you travel a lot, have a lot of vacation times, then it might be worth it, but definitely worth it for full-timers. And there's no excuse not to be flexible for a full-timer. And like I said, this works out for us. I still like to boondock once in a while. We'll treat boondocking like going on vacation from the park systems, but we live full-time out of this, and we spend the majority of our time in the system, and it just saves a ton of money. And we will continue to boondock here and there, and a week here, a week there. So I mean, we're not going to be in the 1,000 Trails system 100% of the time, but we may be in it 90% of the time. The more you're in it, the better the savings, I'll tell you that. But so we're paying the $246 a month right now, but in a few years, the membership will be paid off, and then we're just going to be paying $80 a month. So that's the annual dues. My annual dues are frozen too. So if you are 62 years or older, contact 1,000 Trails, and they will lock in your membership dues so they can't go up. So the only variable in there then would be the Trails collection. So that does seem to go up a little bit each year. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. You can always drop that package if it gets too pricey for you. But at $3.99, it is still a good value. With the 1,000 Trail system, we can still chase after the good weather. Not a problem. Go north in the summer and higher elevations, and in the winter we go south. All right, so right now we're in Florida. It's a little cool right now, 60 degrees. That's not bad. It was 80 degrees last week, and we were swimming in the pool, but we are just north of we're in the Newport Richey area, Hudson, Florida. So it can still get a little cool here in the winter. So we're going to try and make our way a little further south, and hopefully we can get in to the Keys. That's my goal for this year. And I did have someone, when I first started out on this, I did do a review on our experience so far, really early on. There is a video, and I'll put a link up for it. Where one of my subscribers said, "Hey, yeah, wait and see when you try and make reservations in Florida, and then you're going to find that it gets really tough." Well, I've been down here in Florida since the end of September, and we've been in the system continuously at that point in Florida, and we've been moving around a little bit and have had no problems so far. We are scheduled out through February so far, so not bad. So I don't expect any problems that we'll be able to continue on past that. One of the limitations of the system on our contract anyway, because of the elite, is you can only have 2 reservations during high demand times. So the high demand times goes from December 15 to April 1st. So you can only have 2 reservations in the Thousand Trail system, and that also includes encores. Encore, you can have 2 during high volume times in the high volume area. This is pretty much just the Florida area, the high volume. This is where everybody comes. So 2,000 trails, 2 encores, so you can have a total of 4 reservations during the high volume time in Florida. And I've still been able to kind of work around that. As soon as I use up one reservation, I'm going ahead making the next reservation further out, so we don't run into a problem. So it's been great. It really has. We've been in some really beautiful parks, absolutely gorgeous. Neshonoc Lake was our very first one. That's an encore resort up in Wisconsin. Absolutely gorgeous. We thoroughly enjoyed that. We enjoyed our stay in most of these places. There is a lot of renovations going on, so Thousand Trails is investing money in these parks, and so that's really good to see. Wi-Fi systems, redoing the pool. Orlando just redid their pools and their hot tub, and they've expanded the campground, putting in all these nice new sites. We were just there, so looking good, looking good. So the Thousand Trails parks, you're seeing some nice upgrades. So if you don't like the condition of a park right now, I believe they're going to fix it. So it'll be nicer travels in the future. So I think the bottom line on all this is that for us, yes, this has been worth every penny of the membership, without a doubt, no question in my mind. I can be flexible with time and the places, so nothing has been a real big issue for us whatsoever. So just because you see these people saying all sorts of bad things about all these parks, take it with a grain of salt. How are you going to use the parks? You're going to be full-timing, traveling? Are you a planner? Can you plan things out? And I think you'll be okay and find that this is worth it. If you can't do that, then maybe this isn't for you. It's not for everybody. Full-timing RVing is not for everybody. This past year, because of the COVID deal, we have a lot of new RVers in the system, and their expectations are different, and they're just a different breed, I think. And I think you'll find next year sometime there's going to be a lot of RVs for sale, and you might find some used memberships for sale as well, because I think there's just going to be a glut of used RVs out there once we get past all this COVID stuff. So the other thing is, you know, some people, they prefer space, wide open space and forests and stuff, and there are more rustic parks, but this is probably not for them. So yes, this is worth all the money, definitely, and I'm happy with it. All right, well, I hope that helps you if you're deciding that you want to do this and you're not sure. Thousand Trails membership is a great way to help keep your costs down and still be able to travel and see and do things. So, okay, until next time, happy camping. Bye now. Thomas says thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share. Until next time, happy camping.